Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship and entertainment. Guys, like always, man, I try to get rid of this guy. He just keeps showing up here every time that we freaking record. I'm joined by Barry Bull. What's up, Barry?
I never left. I've
Oh,
been
that what it
outside
is?
the building, breathing heavy on the glass.
Is that what it is?
No,
is that what?
man.
How you been, man? You been good?
I've been very good, yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Taking testosterone has been amazing. You know what I mean? I just take a little tiny bit.
Just a little bit?
3 times a week. I feel great, feel better than ever.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Today, guys, you know, I say all of our podcasts are very entertaining and are very special. But this one, though, we have a special guest that literally just retired after 22 years of faithful service. His EAS was September 30th, 2024. So literally from the time that we're recording, that's why like
let's
2
give
weeks.
him one. Give him one in the comments.
We're talking about John Bergerano. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Thanks. I'm doing well. Enjoying retirement life. Life is good. Yeah, life is good, man.
Are you enjoying it though? Because you went right to work.
I went to work, but I had time, with my terminal.
Yeah.
I took some time to decompress.
Yeah.
Enjoy some family time. And I applied for jobs in there,
Yeah.
but I was very specific on what I wanted to do after the Marine Corps. Okay. And the lines, the stars have lined up, and so far so good. But
I just want to point out to the audience that Sergeant Major's already knife-handed.
Like 4 times.
All of us at least 7 times. He said, I'm here and I'm there and I love you guys.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So John, you were a sergeant major of several, aviation units.
Correct.
Also logistics units.
Correct.
So you have plenty of experience. How long were you a sergeant major for?
I got selected in 2019, but I was such a young boot first sergeant. While before I pinned on, but my number and everything was 2019, I believe.
Got you. And I do gotta ask, because I ask all of these, I ask this question to everybody that comes on the podcast, specifically, everyone that is high profile, because a sergeant major coming on a podcast is pretty high profile, if you ask me, right? Okay. So what brought you into the A2B podcast today? Besides me asking.
I enjoy the content. I think, the content you'll put out there, it brings awareness to a lot of unspoken truths, a lot of, do as I say, but not as I do type deal, and everybody turns their face. And I think some of those things are good to bring it to light, right? The Marine Corps, I love the Marine Corps. We all do, right? We all join for a reason, right? But there's a lot of things that, people don't talk about. It's taboo to bring them out while we're,
Facts.
on active duty for many reasons, right? But, I think this is the media. And, I'm not doing this because I retired or anything, but I think if we talk about education, this is a good line of communication and educating, your followers per se.
Yeah, no, and we appreciate you coming.
Yeah, if there's something that that you can think of, either whether it's during the podcast or after, that we haven't brought up, a topic that you want to see addressed, or a guest that you think we should have on here that we haven't. I mean, Albert and I talk all the time. We would be willing to pay for somebody's travel, if it came down to that. You know what I mean? Sergeant Major Dave Wilson, we'll get him on here maybe one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, and I want to say I appreciate you coming on here. We've met before, haven't we?
I think it was a while ago. Last time I was stationed in 2017, I think I attended to, you were a guest speaker at one of the graduation ceremonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think we've, small Marine Corps.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking it was the first sergeant's course.
Perhaps. What year?
Well, I went to the first sergeant's course in 2010, I think. Yeah. But I was a senior mentor at the first sergeant's course in 2014.
I went in 2015.
Then it couldn't have been that. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But I've seen you around that I'm like, this guy's biceps, man. And he comes in here. I want you guys to know he comes in here in a long sleeve shirt because he don't want me to feel bad. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you because he got the guns covered up right now, making Barry feel good,
Okay, so obviously you did 22 years in the United States Marine Corps. Yes. Did it always start out that way? Like you first, since you joined the delayed entry program, yes. or within your first 4 years of the Marine Corps, did you know that you were gonna do 22 years and retire as a sergeant major?
Not at all. I didn't even. That wasn't even the game plan. I was a kid from New Jersey, right? Paying child support.
Then right off the bat.
Off the bat.
You were paying child support before you joined the Marine Corps.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So talk about PFC. We did child support already. That was tough. But I got bored, man. I have ASC certifications. I was a mechanic prior to joining the Marine Corps. I just got tired, right? And something I explored earlier when I was in high school. But my recruiter did good, and that's probably a topic we could talk about is mental health. My recruiter did really good for me. He told me how. He gave me the negatives before the positives, what to expect, all this. And I was like, whoa, I'm not ready for that. So I held off. And I didn't join until I was 25. At that point, I think I was, okay, got my youngest kid already settled. My beautiful bride still together. We were working things out. And, hey, I said, let's commit. And we committed. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so your recruiter, you said that. Now I gotta ask this because Barry always before Barry asks, I'm gonna ask it. Did you walk into the recruiting office, or did the recruiter have to actually recruit you?
Okay, the first recruiter, when I was still in high school, they did their gig. They went to the high school, they talked to you. Hey, you're a great candidate. I told them, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I have a child here, or soon to have a child, and it's like, listen, dog, everything that's going on with the world, expect this, expect that. If you're good with that, by all means, this is what we could offer you. I wasn't good at the time.
What year was this?
1996.
Got it.
Yeah. So fast forward back to 2002, whatever it was. Not tired of working, but I just needed a change in my life. So I went to the recruiter, right? God bless the recruiter. They sell you everything in the kitchen sink, right? To get you
They
to
sure
sign
do.
in. And just like there's a real good recruiter, I'm assuming career recruiter is online right now, very good salesman. But sells you everything that when I joined, my first duty station wasn't it. I came in the Marine Corps as a motor T, right? With an artillery unit, 110.
Oh,
wow.
Best unit so far that I enjoyed. That's my career. However, if you don't know anything about artillery, you're always in the field.
Literally
in the field, always. Or if not, you're going to Norway. If not, you're going to 29 Palms or whatever.
you're doing something.
So at what point are you going to do college? At what point are you going to do all the sexy stuff they promise you? You just don't have time. I mean, you do, but then, at what time do I have family time? Where's that work, family, balance?
That's powerful.
So to answer your question, no. My first 4 years, it was tough. But after that, once the Marine Corps started making a little bit of sense, and I said, well, you want me to be here? You want me to be on time and do this, and I get promoted? I could do this. And I stayed in.
Okay, question, since you joined at the age of 25.
Yes, sir.
Do you regret joining at 25 and not joining sooner?
That's a good question. No, I don't. I think, once again, my level of thinking process was a little more mature than your typical, and nothing on the young men and women that joined the Marine Corps straight out of high school, nothing then. But I was a little older, a little seasoned, right? So,
well, you already had a kid, you had a career.
Yes. So I think all the shenanigans going through boot camp, all the shenanigans, the little games that we play in the Marine Corps, to me was, okay, it is what it is. Stand up, parade rest to the senior lance corporal, got it. Go home, and we figured it out. So, no, I don't regret it. I think it would have been harder, but when I was younger.
How did you feel at the time when you had specifically Motor T? Because I know the Motor T culture, specifically the Motor T culture in artillery.
Yes.
It's like artillery, man, as an 0811s, Motor T people.
Yeah.
And nobody else really matters in artillery. Okay, so how was it, you being a 25-year-old PFC, taking orders from a 17 or let's say a 20-year-old corporal? Was that difficult for you, and how did you handle it?
It was very, very difficult, at least for me.
You said very twice.
I've been very hot-headed, right? And,
Okay.
having this young young man screaming, spit in my face. Little drill instructors running around NCOs was tough. But I tell you, he's retired right now. Master Gunnery Sergeant Antiveros was my master sergeant. He said, listen, I'm going to talk to you like a man. Yes, you're PFC and everything, but the Marine Corps is this and this. You do this, you do that, do what you're told, everything. So Corporal Christopher Bush was my first NCO in the fleet. All right, tall, slinky kid. And to him, it was great to see the PFCs jump in the dumpster every day as part of cleanup to go dumpster dive. I have no idea. To this day, I would like to know why. But he thought it was very funny.
Hold on. So your first NCO would have you guys dumpster dive?
Correct.
What the hell are you diving in the dumpsters for?
I don't know. He told us to go separate trash. At that time, I Corporal, you
Wow.
go get it done, right?
Yeah, this was 2020.
This is 2003. I'm already in the fleet. Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I can't wait to be, get to that. I tell you, he was a corporal then. I got promoted to corporal and caught up to him. And as soon as I had the stripes on, I cussed his ass out. I told him that shit he's doing was nonsense. There was no reason for that. So, yeah, it was after that. It was easy.
I like that. It's like you held it in, you maintained the line and the professionalism. Not that you would have necessarily been wrong for speaking up, previous to being promoted, and then being promoted and telling them, hey man, negative. This is screwed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the conversation is different.
Yeah.
The conversation now becomes specifically in artillery. If you're an NCO, the NCO Corps in artillery is very tight. So at least that was my experience. I don't know how your experience, but that was my experience.
Yeah.
So if I see, I don't care. At the time, I didn't care if a PFC, if I was selling something unlawful, if I see that a PFC is not listening to another NCO, everybody's jumping
Let me
in.
ask you a question. What would you say to, somebody who's older, they're 25 or maybe, a little bit younger, a little bit older about joining at that old? What would you tell them? They're out there right now. They're on the fence. They don't know. Did the boat, leave the freaking dock already?
I would say do it. I have no regrets on joining the Marine Corps at that age. It's a great experience, a great opportunity. There's a lot of things that come out of the Marine Corps. There's a lot of things that you gain and will always be in you as a human being, right? The slogan, once a Marine, always a Marine. That's a thing, right? Compared to whatever you're doing back home, just give it a shot, right?
So it was hard taking orders from younger, NCOs, right? Let's say your corporal's 20, you're 25. Was there any, benefits to being older? Did people do their best to put you in, position to succeed because they knew you had those years?
You know what? Yes, I think I was lucky with that. My maturity, I think my leaders saw something in me and gave me, put me in positions where I could succeed, right? Didn't give me the answer to the test, but told me, hey, in order to pass the test, you got to do this, right? So, and you just do it. I tell the young, even the junior Marines before I retired, the Marine Corps is easy. The Marine Corps is easy. Be where you need to be on time, do your job to the best of your ability, pass your PFT, your CFT, the easiest things, right? And do your annual training, and the boat is going to continue. You will get promoted, right? It's those Marines that like to go against the grain, or those NCOs that become friendzios instead of NCOs, right?
Damn, Sergeant Major said friend COs. I like that.
That's what that disrupts.
What do you think of? What do you picture in your mind? What kind of traits when you say friend CO?
And when I say friend CO, and I tell you, at all levels, because even from the staff NCOs are, nowadays it's like everybody is in a popularity contest, right? And then we hide behind this order, that everybody's afraid of the pack. Oh, I can't do this because of the pack. No, lead. Hold your Marines with fairness and dignity. That's it. But everybody don't want to be the cool guy, right? Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to go tell Johnny, it's 2 weeks, you haven't gotten a haircut. Nobody wants that.
Wow.
Oh man. Okay, so
we're getting deep already.
Yeah, we're
getting
deep. We're getting way too deep.
Let's back up. Let's reset.
Well, no, because what I want to do is I want to catch a perspective.
Okay.
We always have these veterans, sergeant majors that get out, lieutenant colonels, that always say that the Marine Corps has changed. Obviously, you are out of the Marine Corps, but you are very recently retired.
Correct.
Has the Marine Corps really changed from the time that you joined?
It has. It has. It absolutely has. Some for the good, some for not so good, right? I think change is good, right? I think if we stay dormant and we continue doing the same things all the time, certain things, we become expandable or, not meaningful to what the society or this nation needs from us. There's just certain things that are non-negotiable. Like our previous Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps said, there's just some things that are not, The standard is the standard. And I think sometimes we teeter around the standard to change some of the things that we're accustomed to doing. I give you an example. A sergeant major at a higher level than me, a lot higher than me. We're going back on a meritorious package for a Marine, a corporal.
My favorite.
Marine corporal going on for meritorious sergeants. There's an order signed by the CG himself. First class PFT, this and that. Check the box. Marine meets the box, right? Calls me, personal phone, late at night, tells me, hey, why does your Marine have a 242?
PFT.
PFT. Well, Sergeant Major, because he has a 242. Okay. He goes, well, and you're putting him up for meritorious promotion?
It's a first class, ain't it?
What does the order state? Gets better. Send me a photo of him. Well, last time I checked, there was an order that we use photographs for promotions. Why you want to see a photo? My CO signed it. The 06 commander signed it. So now you're questioning two levels of
Yeah.
Wow. It goes back to, we twist some things to make it, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, they're trying to fit. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, because essentially, a lot of people have this idea of what a first class PFT means.
I'll tell you, I had the same argument, man, when I was in 3rd Ma. Oh. And we're sitting in the room. Mm-hmm. We're sitting in there, right? And I had a little bit of time on the other guys, They're all looking at me. We all used to talk about this. Same thing. They're DQing, they're disqualifying junior Marines for meritorious promotion that are qualified and recommended by the commanding officers. And we sit there and we start, me and this particular 06 Sergeant Major.
Okay, yes.
And I was working for an 06 at the time as well. And I said, here's the part that pisses me off. Those Marines know me. They don't know you. So I got to go back, and I got to explain to everybody why a guy who's eligible just didn't even get to compete.
Yes.
He didn't even get his book briefed. He didn't even get to come up and do the question and answer, portion, whatever it was. Well, what do you want me to do, Barry? You want me to send out an email? Actually, yes, that would be really, really good. If you would put your name on it and say, this guy's eligible and recommended, but we just don't want to read his book to everybody else in the room.
But time out. At what point, specifically you two, with the experience that both of you guys have, do those orders become guidelines and become biased opinions? At which point? Like, is there a time that you pinpoint it? Like, for example, like you guys are saying, right? It's like, hey, the CG signed this order.
To me, if the commanding general signed the order, that's the order we go by.
Dude, right? Change the order. If you want to change the order.
If you want somebody to run, because probably you grew up in that mentality. For us, going up for meritorious promotion, you have to have a 285 or higher, right?
Yeah.
And yes, does PT and having that ability to run, maintain a high PFT, does that, doesn't make you a better leader, but does that show that you have more time, right, to go out there and PT on your own, right? Sure it does, right? But I don't think that a 285 makes you a better leader.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing too. People because people come in the comments, let us know what you guys think, honestly, because at the end of the day, dude, I get it. I'm not an idiot. And it was Rob. I told Rob, I said, look, I get it. You want the higher PFT. This is what we're envisioning as a meritorious Marine. I get it. How do you know this guy isn't recovering from knee surgery?
Yes.
Now all of a sudden, he's been stressed out at home with his wife, right? And I get it. We're all about family, but we don't care. You know, he's been trying to recover from this injury. He don't know if he's going to be allowed to stay in. Am I going on a med board? Because Junior Marines, we don't know how that crap works. Everybody knows that, right? This guy's bouncing back. He comes back, 242. He meets the requirements, and I want to get him up there, get him in front of people because he's a damn good leader and his trajectory is on the way up. You can't see that on a piece of paper, but y'all just want to shut it down, and there's an order. Okay, so right now, this is what we got right now. I'm gonna tell y'all, this is why people don't like sergeant majors, and I know y'all are gonna hate me on this one because we do our own shit. We do our own stuff. We come in here, we got the order, and we're sitting there, me and him are lockstep, we're agreeing, hey dog, here's the order, blippity blip. If you don't want to vote for him, don't vote for him.
Yes.
Don't vote for him.
Okay, but again, I go back to my question. Is there a specific point that you go and you look at a Marine and you go like, no? To what point do you deviate? Because
No.
this is an issue.
For me, no, and I'm going to tell you why. Because
But it happens very like
I'm not going to judge a guy like that because it's his guy. I don't know his guy. He knows his guy. Hey, dog, I'm just going to rack and stack him.
But Barry, this is I'm gonna go back. We had a guest here a couple of months ago. His name is Hayden Jolly. He got selected to go into the Navy. It's called the IPAP program, the Physician Assistant Program.
Yeah.
So he got accepted for that, right? And his sergeant major denied his package just straight up, even though within his package it showed his eligibility, all the stuff that he was denied to. His sergeant major was like, nah, you know what? No, you're not going.
Dude,
so to which point? To which point? Because this happens and this happens frequently. To which point do sergeant majors like deviate from that into their own personal bias?
And you know what? Once again, people are probably gonna get this going, but the 8999 community, the first sergeant major, the shadiest community. I just say it, right? For example, the example you just said, that Marine got selected to go to this program, right? The sergeant major's denying his package. Well, last time I checked, neither Barry nor John, we don't deny or approve any packages. Our job is to make our recommendations to our commander and let them make the final decision. That's why they're commanders. If I was that Marine, I would have requested mass.
Oh, he did.
He did.
Oh yeah, he did.
He did.
And he won.
And he did.
He
and
did.
you want to know
won.
what it was, brother? They didn't even read the package.
Oh my
This guy put everything in there, and this why
we're talking. What's that command? The training command was
TCOM.
TCOM. It was a TCON command. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not like low visibility.
I went off
like
the deep end on that episode because I used to get into it with so many guys in our community.
Oh yeah.
And I would tell them, this is y'all don't do. And look, if I got a butt chew and come to me, I'm gonna take it. You know, I'm not
100%.
claiming to be perfect, but one thing that I was taught as a young staff NCO, when you get something, you read it from top to bottomest.
And you read it up and down, side
Bro,
to side, understand?
side to side, right?
Yeah.
Because why? Because it's gonna tell you in there. First lesson I ever got, junior staff NCO, my sergeant major pulled me in. I was eligible for promotion, and she sat me down. Sergeant Major Irene O'Neill, I love you. You're the best, okay?
we need to have. This is like the 5th time you mentioned her. We need to have her on the podcast.
I'll pay for your travel, 100%. Albert even got to come out of pocket because she still mentors me like that, and she's hardcore, man. But she sat me down, and she was just treating me like first of all, like an adult. And second of all, read this MAR admin from top to bottom.
Yes.
All the stuff, right? That was literally the first time I realized that a promotion MAR admin tells you everything, dude. What to send, who to send it to, deadlines, this. But what do we all do? We just go to, am I eligible? And everything else gets tossed in the trash, right? And so we don't really sit there and learn. And that's where I learned that lesson.
Yes. In
this particular case, this Marine, he had to request mass just to go in there and tell these guys, a sergeant major and an 06, I put the information in the package and I highlighted it and I tabbed it.
Yeah.
All the stuff we tell them to do. I don't know, and I don't want to make excuses for nobody. We don't know what anybody's going through, but as a leader, accountability goes a long way. Damn, dog. Sure. And here's the thing that pissed me off. This is what I'm going to say. Not just not reading it. Dude, if I was going to not recommend, as you said, we don't have the authority. If I was going to not recommend your package, I would call you.
Exactly.
Hey, brother, can you come? And before I say a word, hey, doc, I need to talk to you. When's a good time? I'm not trying to stress you out. You're not in trouble, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing that has to come.
Right, because Marines will be freaking pissing down their legs.
Yeah.
You come in, you sit down. Hey, brother, I just want to talk to you. I want to make sure I understand this. Am I missing something here? Because I've never seen one of these maybe, right? Oh, yeah, Sergeant Major, it's got this and this and this and this and this. Okay, because I was getting ready to not recommend it. I'm glad I called you.
Yes.
Why is it so hard for sergeant majors to demonstrate that vulnerability of like, man, I don't know, like
Because they take guys like Barry and fire them.
oh, Barry, you went there.
That's what they do.
You went there.
That's what they do, right? How unpopular were you in some of these conversations?
Oh my God.
Because you just won't get on board.
Nope.
You just don't get it.
No. You just don't. I don't know why we deviate, or this community now, that community then deviates so much from some things. I think we forget sometimes. We like to sit in that office and we forget where we come from, right? We forget what is the fucking police call, right? Those Marines in aviation, when they have to go do FOD walk, right? And go out there and FOD walk with them from time to time, right? So when you ask why they're wearing P-teen, as a sergeant major, because a lot like first sergeants, they don't go to aviation now, a few units, right? But sergeant majors, they go to the unit for the first time. They want to change the whole battle rhythm in aviation. Hey, you can't. There's flight operations that supersede certain things, and you have to adjust. But then we get into our chevrons, and then we go into those deviations what we're talking about.
Yeah,
The very deep question that I'm going to ask:
I'm ready.
what does a sergeant major mean by when they say, "I'm looking after the institution"? Deep question right there. It just popped out of my mind randomly, but I just want to say, because like, what is
I've
the
never
institution?
heard that before. Maybe like,
Yeah, it's like,
Maybe
well, I
another-
got to look out for the institution.
or my
what does that
loyalty is
mean?
to the institution. Maybe could that be the
No,
same
it's
thing?
like no, it's like, well, I'm looking out for the institution.
I've never
as
said
in as in like when somebody either gets in trouble or not necessarily gets in trouble, but there's like a questionable, like
Sure.
a gray area type of deal.
Sure.
It always comes up like, well, between you and the institution, I'm picking the institution. What is
That's
that?
a deep question, right?
That is a very deep question. We can think about it. We can think about it.
What
and come
I
back to it.
think of when I hear that is some of the times where somebody really like punted it in the stands, and they don't want to be held accountable, and you're sitting there like, hey, dog, this is we there is no getting around this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you an example for me how I take that, and when we go back to protect, and I don't say so much protecting the institution, right? It boils down to good order and discipline within your unit. I'll give you an example. A Marine goes out there, gets a DUI upon his out of the stand, that it's like, okay, this is something, right? Commander wants to sweep it under the rug. Hey, sir, if you do this one, you're gonna have to sweep every other one under the rug. Now, you could hold a Marine accountable, NJPM, of course. How much punishment you propose to that Marine? Now we have flexibility.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. But that's essentially that, and within those lines, that's where I think it's like the institutional part comes in, right?
Correct.
Because at what point is like, man, to what point do we decide this is a fair this is a fair punishment for whatever the Marine actually did, right?
Sure.
Like, because like me and Barry always says all the time, dude, like a Marine gets NJP and all of a sudden 10 years later, he's still getting freaking for the same mistake that he did when like 5-10 years ago.
Well, I used to make it part of my little NJP outbrief when I would sit down with a Marine and I would tell them, listen to me, if anybody out there, right, is continue to add to the punishment because I've been NJP'd, you come and tell me. All right? I don't care. Here's my cell phone number. I really don't care. You get a hold of me some way, somehow. Nobody, but what do we do, right? You're not going on this deployment. You're not going on this cool little detail. You're not going to be able to go work the cool little security at the Chargers game. I'm going to put you on every working party. I'm going to make sure that I hold you back. You're not going to get recommended for meritorious promotion. And it's like, hold on, dog. Those are punishments.
Yes.
They are. They are. And you're holding that guy down, you know? And so what's stopping them from continuing to act out in the first way that got them NJP'd?
Yeah.
You got to give him a chance, right? You held that Marine accountable. He paid his price, whatever restriction, you know, you got demoted, whatever it is. But at that point, and going back to what you were saying, Barry, like my conversation with the staff NCOs or the first rounds after the Marine gets NJP is like, now we got to build him back up. He's still part of your team. He's still part of your team.
And they
He's
can
still
come
getting
back.
paid Marine Corps dollars.
And they can come back twice as hard
And
recover.
9 times out of 10, a Marine who gets NJP, that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
They want to show you.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
want to show the Gunny Ramoses and the Sergeant Majors, dude, I can do this. Give me a chance. Put me back in the game.
Yeah.
Put me in the game. Show me. And the thing is, you got to show them that you believe in them. Hey, brother.
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
sister.
I think that's the key word right there. You haven't lost trust in them. You still trust them. People make mistakes. That was whatever you did, man. BS. You know.
Yeah, it's a
mistake.
zero defect mentality, but yeah, we can't get away from the zero defect mentality. That's just the reality. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe you can enlighten us. Why is it that
Yeah.
senior leaders
Well, so
cannot get away from the zero defect mentality?
I just want to say I've never been this excited to have another Sergeant Major on here. You know what I'm saying? We're like Voltron and stuff over here. You know what I mean? I don't get that many visitors and stuff like that. Albert, you know, he doesn't let me talk to other Sergeant Majors. But no, zero defect mentality. This is how I define it. You were trying to do something wrong, okay, or you're trying to do something right. You did something wrong and you got crushed for it, okay? You were trying to do something right. Your intentions were good. You messed up and you get crushed for it. Accountability, you're trying to do something wrong. You do something wrong and you get crushed for it. We need to understand, and that's just my opinion on it. Sergeant Major, I don't know what you think, but you know, we throw the terminology around zero defect mentality, right? And some people take it to mean you know, don't hold this guy accountable for the thing that he did wrong. And he was knowingly and willingly like out there, you know, it's like guys that do drugs. Have you ever sat down and thought about logistically what it would take you to get cocaine right now? Like it's going to take a couple of steps, right? It's not just going to land in your magically land in your red cup at the 4th of July beach bash on Camp Pendleton because it got windy, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Logistically, there's some steps in there. You got to know a guy, you got to call a guy, you got to go pick it up, you got to put it in your nose or whatever you choose to do. So,
No, you're right, 100%. There's things like, you know, we talk weekend safety, you know, the safety briefs, right?
Yeah.
Don't do this, don't do that, right? And what do you do that weekend? You get a DUR, or you come back, your analysis, you pop for drugs. You were told, right? You were told, okay, we're going to hold you accountable, and that's it, right? And we move on from there. But I think what you're alluding to, like for like us, 89, 99 community, where do we get this zero defect mentality? And I think it's a process, a systemic process, right? I tell you that when I was selected to first sergeant, I was in Okinawa, Japan. My original sergeant major, like I was like professionally like afraid of this dude, because he did not hesitate to tell all of it. He knew we were frocked, that nothing was given to us, and whatever excites him better fascinate us, or you know, here in our careers. So what do? You know,
your regimental sergeant major told you that he'll end your career.
Constantly say it.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Then a battalion sergeant major telling us there's a pecking order, right? That was my in brief, me and my fellow first sergeants checking into the regiment, the battalion. Like, oh, this is the 8999 community.
There's a pecking order in the A. So
100%.
Is there?
I don't know. Is there?
You don't want my answer. I want.
Yeah, I do want your freaking answer.
I want to hear what you gotta say. You go first.
I think there's a linear number when it comes down to that, but I don't when it comes down to like promotions, who's coming in zone for the linear number in that case, yeah. But as far as, because you are in H&S first sergeant, right? And you know, and I'm in, I don't know, like in Delta company, whatever. Does that make you the next first sergeant to be, you know, on the 1 through 5 now list to the CO by the sergeant major? I don't know. I think it's dumb, right? But I think systemically, what I'm getting at is that, to me, and I'm speaking to my experience, right? I thought, okay, well, the sergeant major wants me to be like this. I gotta be like this. What does the freaking regimental sergeant major he wants? zero this, then hey, I got to go back to my company and say, hey, sir, this is what we're gonna do, and this is what the battalion commander wants to do. Every
Yeah.
NJP, every incident, we're gonna NJP. We're gonna NJP. Man, I think you asked me earlier if or outside if there's anything I would do different. I would think I would have freaking recommend less NJPs when I was in Okinawa. But since I
Damn.
was following some more systemic expectations
Yeah.
from my regimental sergeant major, and we all want to get promoted
And this was as a first sergeant.
as a first sergeant.
Wow.
Got it.
I
That's deep.
appreciate I appreciate your honesty, man. Like
100%.
because yes, this is gold, because that level of honesty there, that's what we expect. Like, people forget, right?
Yeah.
And the Marines and military personnel, we're still servant leaders.
Yes.
And that's why I was referring to whenever it comes to the institution, because in my opinion, the institution is the people.
Sure.
It's not the equipment, because the equipment ain't shit without, not with the AI, who knows? But the equipment ain't shit without the people. For me, the people, looking out for the institution is looking out for the people. I'm not talking about not holding them accountable, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about making sure that it's the most fair punishment. Now, I do want to get back, right? So, you did 4 years. You already had a family.
Yes.
Did you decide to stay in? Because I can guarantee you that. Let me give you some background, so that way you know where I'm coming from with this question. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So there is a lot of first termers that either come into the Marine Corps with a family or create their family within the first 4 years.
Yes.
And then they get so deeply institutionalized within that first enlistment that they don't see any other way of them being successful in their life besides re-upping. And you have a bunch of staff NCOs that were in that same position of like, no, if you get out, you're gonna be working at McDonald's or whatever. Did you decide to stay in the Marine Corps because of that mentality, or did you decide to stay in the Marine Corps because after that time you still had the passion and thrive for you to being a Marine?
Okay. Great question, by the way. The Marine Corps, I had that bug bite. It just, as soon as, after my second year, and I pin on NCO, I just, the level of responsibilities, the deployments, I fell in love with it. And that's what I wanted to do, I seen, and we all seen it coming up, like Corporal Bush. I still remember him because he made an impact. With positive, negative, he made an impact. But I wanted to do better. And I had a great staff NCOs from that first duty station that set me up for success.
I love that.
And I wanted to do it. Now, not a fear, but a concern of mine was, okay, if we get out, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Okay, my wife, I have a child, what am I going to do? So I think part of job security was another part of why, helped me push over that edge and saying, hey, let me re-enlist.
Now, I do have a question, and I think I've never asked you this question. I could have asked you this question a lot of times, Barry, but I guess I'm going to ask.
Oh my
another
gosh,
sergeant
what a one-way guy. Man. He's a true recruiter.
Do sergeant majors get briefed by their commanders that there is a quota that needs to be met within their commands of Marines that need to re-enlist?
Okay, I'm going to talk about,
Go ahead.
from my experience. I have not had a commander, in my time at Sergeant Major time, that was, Sergeant Major, we need to make sure X, Y, and Z. We get our mission from high headquarters. These are the Marines that we got to, try to, the numbers we have to hit. And we do what the process does, right? We do our briefs. We talk to the Marines. We set the Marines, that are on the fence lines. But if we make mission, we do. If we don't make mission, at the end of the day, I always used to tell my Marines, and I think that, set yourself up for success, right? If you're on the fence line, submit a reenlistment package, right? You don't have to accept it if it comes back approved. But at least
A lot of guys don't know that.
it gives you
Yeah.
time to search for a job or something else. Now you have more options. Now you could, okay, the Marine Corps said I'm good enough to stay in for another term. Or, I found something else and I think I'm going to execute, that direction.
He touched on it. You have your mission. Okay, you have your numbers, you have your goals, for retention. Are you going to get fired if you don't hit those? No, you're not. But how good does it look when everybody else is hitting these marks?
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And your unit is consistently not. Because why do we have this mentality? Because as a leader, are you looking into, why that is, right? So it just doesn't brief well when you're the one unit whose retention is low. And what I've found is that Marines just don't do what you're supposed to do. He already touched on it. Give the brief, dude. Yeah. Go give, I forget what it's called, but you get all your first term Marines in a room and don't make it stupid and painful and like 16:30 on a Friday in the no air conditioned chapel in Las Pulgas, Like, don't do that, dude. Go rent something out, air conditioned, coffee, chow. Hook them up, dude. Make it low stress and motivating and get some people up there as guests. Hey,
that's a really.
I've seen this guy on social media. He's a drill instructor. Wanted to bring him in, sit him down, and I'm giving you guys pearls here. So if you're a sergeant major out there or a first sergeant, you ain't doing this. I don't know, man. You can act like it's not important, but you got first term devil dogs who are thinking about it, and you're losing them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you don't care. Maybe it's because you do. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, next question. Okay. Because this happens, I've seen it happen countless times. Happened to me a couple
Albert's
times.
he gets triggered.
Probably happened to you guys a couple times. No, actually, I'm cool today.
He's passionate.
I'm cool today. I took my pills today. I took my pills
Puerto Rican. I mean, come on.
Okay, so my question is, how much time do you really have once that re-enlistment package comes back in order for you to be like, yes, I want to do this now? Because the career planners, they're smart. The package comes back. It's like, you need to come to my office right now, or if not,
days?
Yeah,
10
it's not
days.
that long, but you do have some time though.
Because they said that I've seen cases that career planners take them into the office like, you have 24 hours to decide.
Because they're shady.
So yes, I had one. I had one.
See,
I had one. I mean, the Marines did not want to go see the career planner, and he didn't do it out of malice.
Sure.
Yeah.
He a lot mover like most of the career planners, and he wanted to meet his quota, right?
Yeah.
But if you get out of your office, walk around, circulate the your battle area, right? You get to speak to the junior Marines and you get a pulse on what's going on, and you fix it. Another trick that I used to do going back into retention is, all those Marines, the FTAP Marines, they have to fill out the little survey on why they don't want to re-enlist.
Sure.
I used to have my career planner
Collect
compile
them.
all those, and we start looking at trends, and then we used to base our brief based on those trends, and then bring in speakers, resources that would help towards those trends to help. I don't say convince, because we're talking about lives, but give better educational points and decision points for those devil dogs they want to re-enlist or not.
Yeah, and for you guys that don't know, the FTAP that Sergeant Major reference was first term alignment plan. But you're right, do the numbers.
Yes,
I used to do that when we first started doing the NCO promotion panels. Right, if you see now I'm triggering Sergeant Major. when we did and we first started doing them, right. I was still a company first sergeant at the time, and we would sit down. I sat down. Nobody else. I say we. I'm like, it was just me at night, when I probably should have been with my family, but anyways. And I would look at who got non-rect, why did they get non-rect? Then the next quarter, who got non-rect, for a second time, and what were the reasons, and what were the repeat reasons? And dude, by far, not even close, it's PME. Not even close, it's PME.
Yes.
And at the end, at least for my company, and so what does that inform you as a leader? I need to put a heavy emphasis on PME, right?
That doesn't look good. Doesn't look good on the Marines, but also doesn't look good on you as a sergeant major.
Well, dude, okay, so you had case in point. You just went 2 quarters. We knew all the reasons these Marines got non-rec the first time, and we let the second quarter come around, and we didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dog. Like, really? Do you really care about this Marine? you know, and they're not all getting out. I know there's some Marines that are getting out and we don't want to take school seats. I ain't talking about those guys.
Yeah.
But my point is like Sergeant Major said, collect those briefs up. Why are these Marines getting out? Let's start addressing some of these trends, you know, and let's start like looking into this. But we don't do that as leaders. We just go,
Yeah. Here's one thing, you know, probably some of my aviation staff and SEALs probably don't like me or didn't like me. I would tell them, you know, you all got promoted, right? You all went to PME, you met your requirements, right? But, you know, in aviation, it's all about qualifications, right? You need certain qualifications to, you know, to get those aircrafts ready. And the fact is that sometimes those guys, you know, are one of one. But guess what? That staff and SEAL has those qualifications. So I used to tell them, hey, listen, if you got to put on your coveralls, right, for a week to send a young Lance Corporal or go to Lance Corporal seminar, then stash aren't. We turn in wrenches for a week. I'll be there to help you, but the Lance Corporal is going to go to PME. Right?
Yeah.
You know, and so forth, PME. But I used to tell them, hey, we got to make every opportunity to let these devil dogs go to their PME. Because at the end of the day, you're getting promoted, you got promoted, they're not getting promoted. And how many times are we going to non-rec this Marine? How many page 11s are we going to sit there because we control that? We got to fix it.
You know, this has been an excellent conversation for the past about 45 minutes. Time goes extremely fast when we're having fun. So that's why we love doing this, right? And I think this has been extremely insightful. We're definitely going to be doing a part 2 for this podcast because this has been a little bit you know, there's a lot of things that I can tell that you've gotten out of your chest, and you still got a bunch of things that you still want to say, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a part 2. This has taken a different approach to what we usually do because we usually start with the career and all that stuff.
Yeah,
We've kind of went there, kind of went there, but at the same time, you've given us some very insightful things. We don't get to talk to a lot of sergeant majors. A lot of them hate us, and that's okay. Okay, Barry, where can people reach out to you at?
You guys know where to find me. Instagram at Bull5277 and Bulls JDM. Go hit me a follow. TikTok at Bull52772. YouTube, the A to B podcast, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Bulls JDM. Click the link in my bio, you guys. I got a bunch of stuff in there. I got links for everything I just mentioned. If you need testosterone, if you're looking for personal training, or you need a career option, a good side hustle where you want to make multiple 6 figures a year, guys, I'm a DM away. You don't have to be scared out there. You ain't got to be depressed. You ain't got to have low testosterone. The call is free. The change will last you a lifetime.
John, where can people reach out to you at?
Well, listen, I know I'm on Facebook and I think Instagram. I don't follow it. The only thing I post is videos from my son in high school, but I do get on Facebook. So if you want to hit me up on Facebook, find me on Facebook. Yeah, I'm easygoing.
Okay, awesome, guys. You guys know where to reach out to me at. Ramos_Capital, Instagram and TikTok. Go to the link in my bio. Schedule a free personalized VA home loan roadmap strategy where I'll show you exactly how is it that you can become a homeowner, guys. This is what the part that I love, man, because we can be freely talking about the things because there's only 2 businesses that support this podcast. It is Bull Fitness and Ramos Capital, okay? And here we can do and we can talk because this is a free environment because we control everything, okay, guys? We don't have any type of sponsors, and I think we're going to keep it like that. I don't know. I like running my mouth and saying whatever the hell is it that I want. How do you feel about that,
I believe
Barry?
in the First Amendment.
Let's go. Guys, I'll see you guys in the next one.